What's up, everybody? This is Audio Dread. Finally back in the new apartment. Got everything set up. Well, I got my recording set up finally. So I've got a story to tell today, but first I just want to really quick say thanks to everyone who has stuck with me through my hiatus, and special thanks to everyone who's come over here from the Shorts channel. It's nice to have you here. I appreciate you being here, and I assure you it was not a waste of time to subscribe here. Videos will now resume. I am not going to promise the normal twice a week schedule for now, just until I get some semblance of control back over my life. It was a really hard move, but videos will resume and hopefully resume their normal schedule soon. So today, very interesting story. So it's going to turn into a little bit of a tutorial, but for context, essentially I was with my girlfriend. We were watching Markiplier. We were watching his videos, and he played a game called Veiled. And I'm just going to show you a clip of the game.
Forest. You enter the forest. Like, so you make sure that scary music and ambiance is really pumped up to the max. We need the soundscape to really encapsulate people so that they get the full immersive horror experience. Ominous twisted trees.
And then I'm going to show you a clip from the second video that I ever made. And after listening to those, you can probably understand why I might have been a little suspicious. So what I did is I took both clips, because it's on Freesound. I've been stolen from a lot on Freesound. I took both clips, I put them into Adobe Premiere Pro. Now, Adobe Premiere has this function called Synchronize, where you can take two sound clips and you can mark them both, and it will basically find a place where the wavelengths perfectly match, and it'll put them together. So it's really nice if, say, your microphone on your camera is really cheap and crappy, and you want to record with a different microphone, you can use that to synchronize your microphone with the camera microphone audio, and that way it's just perfectly in line with the recording and you don't have to try really hard to line it up yourself. So I did that, and it triggered and it matched. I'm going to include links to both sounds in the description. You can test this out for yourself. You can analyze them however you want. So I started to feel like, well, maybe they took my sound, because it does sound really similar. It sounds like mine put through a bit crusher and like trimmed down a little bit. I sent it to my friend the sound effects guy. He put it on his Discord. I believe it was Aftertouch Audio. I will have to fact check that, and if I was wrong, then something will pop up here saying who it actually was. Put these two clips together where there's like a perfect side-by-side comparison of two places where it matches perfectly. So I'm just going to play those for you really quick. And so all of this is here because I just want to show you guys that I 100% didn't jump to any conclusions. I did a lot of tests. Special thanks and shout out to the sound effects guy, Aftertouch Audio, everyone who helped me out with this. I was up all night trying to figure it out. So at this point, I'm like, those assholes took my sound. I was so convinced, but this crazy thing happened. And that was, I emailed the devs, and they emailed me back, and they were like, yeah, we recreated that. We didn't download any samples. Because here I was thinking, there was like a bot that downloaded one of my free sounds that downloaded that sound specifically. And I was like, well, maybe there's someone who's like redistributing these, and they purchased it for someone or downloaded it for free, thinking in good faith that it was, public domain, and not knowing that it had initially been stolen from me. I didn't think that they took it from me. I just thought that they took it from somewhere that probably stole it from me. So they were very cool, very nice. Yeah, we would totally credit you if we had used your sound, but we didn't. And he offered to send me the project file and everything. I was like, yeah, I believe you, but I'd like to see that. It was all done in Reaper. As you guys know, I don't use Reaper or even have Reaper on my computer, so I sent it again over to the sound effects guy. He kind of analyzed it in Reaper. It's not like I was expecting to find that it wasn't legit, but it was all legit and everything. So I went through all of that. They sent that over to me. I sent it to the sound effects guy. He analyzed it, found all the settings, all of that stuff. So the way that they made it, and I'll play the original file here. So they made this with an OP1 and some just general EQ effects, reverse and forward reverb, the kind of just gold standard for what you do with any sort of horror music. Now, if you don't know, an OP1 is quite an expensive machine. And what I found really interesting was I was able to make this sound for free in Audacity using a public domain environment nature recording of birds chirping. And that's what I used. And I'll play, the kind of before and after. And this was literally my second video, so I don't remember exactly what I did, but I do know that I used cubic curve distortion, which is an odd harmonics distortion. It basically just squares out wavelengths. I did that. I slowed it down. I added reverb, reverse and normal reverb, and I just kind of rinse and repeat to create this sound, which is a vastly different process. So what I want to do now is I actually want to go in and I want to edit my sound to sound like a little closer to theirs, basically do a high pass filter, that sort of thing, put their bit crusher settings on it, and then just compare so that I can show you guys that it's not about equipment, it's about you, it's about your creativity. And I was able to by accident make something like what it took a machine that costs over $1,000 to make, I was able to do in Audacity with a free bird chirping sample. Alright, so I have both the raw and the bit crushed version pulled into Audacity here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to plot the frequency of both of those. And as you can see, the bit crushed one kind of has some weirder frequencies at the high end, but the initial is what I really want to go after looking like. And I want to try to get my frequency as close to that one as possible, because that's what's going to get my sound the closest to their sound once it's done. So I've pulled my clip into it, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to analyze that one as well. And what I'm essentially just trying to do is recreate their sound using my sample. And so I'm just going to try to get my initial product looking as similar to theirs as possible. And as you can see, I have a lot higher on the bassy end. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mess around with some high pass filters and try to get my spectrum as close to their spectrum as I can, so that my initial pre-bit crushed is as close to their pre-bit crushed as it can get. So I did a few different attempts, and I figured out that setting the frequency to 200 and the roll off to 48 decibels gets it about as close as I can get it. So I'm just going to normalize that, and then as you can see when I do the plot spectrum, and then if you compare that to theirs, you can hear a lot of those same frequencies. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just go through my clip and trim out all of the kind of grindy, distorted bits that ended up in there, because theirs is very smooth. And then I'm just going to run it through their bit crusher. So now I'm just going to take the settings that they used on their bit crusher. Again, thanks to the sound effects guy for getting all of this information for me. A link to his channel will be down in the description. All of the images that you've seen of their project came from him, so special thank you to him. So I'm just going to take that, and they had the drive set to 35.2%, the crush set to 28.8%, the DWSP, I don't even know what that stands for, but that was set to 51.2. The filter was set to, I'm assuming that's high pass since there's more of the higher frequencies going on and the lines going upward, and that was set to a frequency of 539. Everything else was left at default except for the dry and wet, which were set to 1.6 decibels for dry and negative 24.5 decibels for wet. So I used the exact same settings that they used. and just applied that. Alright guys, so that's how I was able to use Audacity to make the exact same sound as a machine that's over $1,000 and Reaper using just a bird chirp sample. If you want to try any of this out for yourself, I will leave links to all of the sounds in the description. So the main thing that I want you all to take away from this is that the artist doesn't make the tools, and the tools don't make the artist. The artist makes the art, and the tools are irrelevant. And so here is just my way of proving that it doesn't matter what equipment you have, it doesn't matter how experienced or inexperienced you are, it doesn't matter what kind of professional environment you're in. If you're creative and you just figure out new ingenious ways to do things, you will be able to make amazing things out of nothing. And that's exactly what we did here, is we created something that sounds almost identical to a professionally made game sound using expensive equipment, but all we used is a free open source DAW and a free public domain sample. And also Krush, what they used as their bit crusher, that link in the description for that too. It's completely free. It'll run in Audacity or Reaper. So you can do so much with just free open source plugins, programs. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you have. It matters who you are and what kind of skill set you have and how creative you're willing to be. And that's just the message that I wanted this to put out. So thank you all for watching. I'm going to do more videos like this, sort of tutorial style videos. I want to kind of help people on their journey with Audacity because there's not enough resources out there, in my opinion. It's such a powerful program if you know how to use it, and so few people do. So look forward to that. And in the meantime, I've been Audio Dread, and I will now leave you with my completed recreation of the veiled background music.